Hello everyone, I am Mohit Ahmed Siddiqui, and in this video I will solve questions of double entry bookkeeping chapter from the BPP revision kit. So now in this question 3.3, we are required to calculate the closing net assets. Now net assets, when we talk about net assets, what are net assets? Net assets are actually the capital, the capital of the business, the owner's equity. Why? Because the accounting equation is assets is equals to liabilities plus capital. Now, this equation can also be written as assets minus liabilities is equals to capital. So assets minus liabilities. This figure is also particular this particular equation, assets minus liabilities, is also called the net assets of the business. These are the net assets minus liabilities. When we deduct the total liabilities from the assets, we get net assets. So net assets is another term for the capital that is invested in the business. Now, I have already shown you the capital account, the capital T account. Now, there are a number of things that you still need to understand, that you need to know about the capital account. Now, this is the capital T account. For example, this is the capital T account. This is the capital T account. Now, the opening balance of the capital appears on the credit side, and the closing balance appears on the debit side. Now, what if we introduce more capital into the business? What if the owner invests capital into the business? The capital will increase. The total capital will increase as the owner make more investment in the business. So the investment made by the owner should appear on the credit side. Why? Why? Because investment increases capital. And when capital increases, we credit the capital account. That's why investment appears on the credit side of the capital account. In the same way, if the business makes a profit, if the business makes a profit, now I told you that the objective of running any business is to make profit, or you can say that an owner runs business, anyone who runs business wants to make profits. So the main objective of any business is to make profits for its owners. And capital is the owner's equity, is the owner's account. You can say that is the owner's account, is the owner's account. So when a business makes a profit, what happens that at the end of the accounting period, we credit the capital account with the profit made by the business. So profit eventually appears on the credit side of the capital account at the end of the accounting period. This this thing is known as profit is closed at the end of the accounting period in the capital account. So this is how we close. This is how we treat profit at the end of the accounting period. We simply credit the capital account. We simply credit the capital account. This means that when we make profits, what happens? Our capital increases. The capital in effect, actually what happens that when a business makes profits for its owners, the capital account of the business increases. So we credit the capital account with the profit made by the business. On the debit side, we have drawings, the drawings made by the owner. Why? Because drawing is the opposite of capital. Drawing is the opposite of capital. Drawing is drawing drawings represents uh, investments taken out by the owner from the business for their personal use, for their for their private means. That's why we debit the capital account at the end of the accounting period with the drawings made by the owner. And if the business suffers losses, the loss appears also appears on the debit side. The loss also appears on the debit side of the capital account. This means that loss, when a business makes a loss, the capital account reduces. That's why on the debit side, the loss that's why on the debit side we take all the losses made by the business. And capital, when is the capital account debited? Capital account is debited when the capital reduces. So a loss, you can say that when a business makes a loss, the capital uh, the capital of the owner reduces. That's why we take loss on the debit side. So this is how uh, this is how we end up completing the capital account at the end of the accounting period. Okay, now just remember this treatment of now remember this particular this particular uh, this particular T account that I am showing you right now. This is the opening capital. Opening capital appears on the credit side of the capital account. Any investment made by the owner is credited to the capital account because investments increase the capital account. And capital account, when capital account increases, we credit the capital account. Any profit made by the business also increases the capital account. That's why we, at the end of the accounting period, we credit the profit to the capital account. Similarly, drawings are opposite of capital. That's why drawings are debited to the capital account. This means that when a owner makes drawings, when owner takes out something from the business for his or her personal use, the capital account reduces. That's why we have debited the capital account with the amount of drawings. In the same way, if there is any loss suffered by the business, this loss is also debited to the capital account. And eventually, we have the closing balance of the capital account here. So just remember this thing that I am showing you right now on the screen. You can also copy it down. Now, look at this question here. The profit earned by the business in 2007 was how much? $72,500. Okay. Now, keeping this T account in mind, keeping this thing in mind, let's let's prepare a capital account. Okay, now this is a capital account of a business. Here in the question, we are told that the profit earned by the business was how much? $72,500. The capital account of the business, the capital of account of the business should be credited with the amount of cap profit, should be credited with the amount of profit 72,500. Okay, so I have mentioned 72,500 on the credit side of the capital account. The proprietor injected new capital. The proprietor injected new capital means proprietor made an additional investment in the business of how much? Of $8,000. Now, this investment will also increase the capital account. This investment will also increase the capital account. So we will credit this investment. And the owners withdraw. The owner also withdrew goods for his private use. How much? $2,200. Now, I told you that drawings reduce the capital. And when capital account is reduced, capital account is debited. So we will take drawings on the debit side, $2,200. Moving forward, if net assets at the beginning of 2007 were how much? $101,700. $101,700. So here you are given the net assets. Now, I told you at the start of the video that these net assets are actually the capital of the business. This means that at the start of 2007, how much were the net assets? Net assets were 101,700 at the start of the business. At the start of the business. Now, the question, what is the question? The question requires us to calculate the closing net assets, which means that the closing balance of the capital account. Net assets means capital. This means closing balance of the capital account. In the same way, this represents opening balance of the capital account because net assets are actually the capital of the business. So we are required to calculate here the closing balance. This is so easy. Simply add these three, add these three, and subtract drawing from the sum of opening balance, profit, and investment, and subtract drawing from this from these figures to get the closing balance. Now let us calculate what will be the closing balance. Simply 101,700 plus 72,500 plus 8,000 minus 2,200. The answer is 180,000. This is the balance of capital account at the end of the accounting period, or you can also say that it is the closing balance of net assets, because closing balance of capital is also called net assets. So this is the answer, 180,000. Now Yes, D is the correct answer to this one. This is another question that is very much similar to the previous one. The profit made by a business in 2007 was 35,400. 35,400. The proprietor injected new capital of 10,200 and withdrew a monthly salary of $500. If the net assets at the end of 2007 were how much? 95,100. What was the proprietor's capital at the beginning of the year? Now, the question requires you to calculate the opening balance of the capital, the balance at the beginning of the year, the opening balance of the capital account. Now, simply put figures in the capital account to get the opening balance. Let me show you how. This is the capital account. Profit is how much? 35,400. So we will, profit is 35,400. Capital increases with the amount of profit made. We credit, so we mention profit on the credit side. I am telling you again. The owner invested new capital into the business, that is 10,200. So simply on the credit side, mention 10,200. This is the owner's investment in the business. During the year and withdraw a monthly salary. The owner took out a monthly salary. Each month, the owner took out $500 from the business. This is drawing. This is the monthly drawing that the owner made from the business, $500. So, uh, the total drawings made. So, the total drawings made by the owner during the entire year. How much will be the total drawings? 12 multiplied by 500. It will be $6,000. Now, the net assets at the end, this is the closing balance. Net assets. Net assets represent what? Net assets represent capital. And this is the net assets at the end of, these are the net assets at the end of 2007. So at the end of the year, how much was the closing balance of the capital? The closing balance of the capital was 95,100. This was the closing capital. Now we are required to calculate balance brought down. We do not know the opening capital. We are required to calculate the opening capital. So this question can be solved like finding out a missing figure. In your primary school, you can remember that you should have done a maths, small maths questions like these: 2 plus 2 blank 5, 2 plus blank is equals to 5. What will be, what should be written in the blank? 3 should be written in the blank. This is a missing figure. This is a missing figure. In the same way, you have to find out opening balance here, like in the same way you have to find out opening balance here, like I uh, showed you in this example, the way I calculated the missing figure. So you have to find it like you did in your primary school, a missing figure. You have to determine the opening capital as a missing figure. Now, so what should be the missing figure here for the opening capital? We know that the total of the debit side is equals to the total of the credit side. So what we will do, simply we will take the total of the debit side, that is 6,000 is our drawing, and the closing balance is how much? 95,100, and we will deduct 35,400 and 10,200 from these two to get what? To get the opening balance. 6,000 plus 95,100 minus 35,400 minus 10,200. The answer is 55,500. So the missing figure, the opening balance is how much? 55,500. This is the answer. This is the answer, 55,500. Now, here, the question 3.5. A sole trader took some goods costing $800 from inventory for his own use. The normal selling price of the goods is how much? $1,600. Now, whenever the owner makes a drawing, in face of in face of inventory, in face of goods purchased. So we debit the drawings account, as this is a drawing from the owner, and whenever owner makes a drawing, we debit the drawing account, we debit the drawings account, and we credit the purchases account. You can simply, all you can do here, that you can simply remember this double entry. Double entry for goods taken out of the business. Drawing debit and purchases credit. This is the double entry for goods taken out of the business. Now, there is one more thing to know. There is one more thing that you need to understand. The goods cost how much? $800. The goods can be sold for $1,600, but we take the cost price of the goods. For drawings, we take the cost price of the goods, the price at which goods were purchased. So this is the double entry. Just simply remember this double entry, and remember one thing, that when goods are taken out of the business, inventory is taken out of the business for owner's personal use, we take the cost price of the goods. We debit the drawings account, as this is a drawing from the owner, and we credit the purchases account. So B is the correct answer to this one. Selling price has nothing to do in this transaction. This is irrelevant. So simply ignore the selling price. A business can make a profit and yet have a reduction in its bank balance. Which one of the following might cause this to happen? The sale of non-current assets at a loss. The sale of non-current assets at a loss. Now, in this question, the examiner is asking you to tell which of these transactions, or which of these transactions will reduce the bank balance, but at the same time increase the profit. Now, when you will sell a non-current asset at a loss, what will happen? You will eventually end up making a loss. So the profit will not increase. In this transaction, in this question, the examiner actually requires you to tell that out of which these four, out of these four, which one of the following, which one of these four, which one of these four adjustments will increase the profit, increase the profit, increase profit, but reduce bank balance, but reduce bank balance, increase profit but reduce bank balance. Now if you sell a non-current asset at a loss, your profits will reduce because this is a loss. So this statement is not correct. Charging of depreciation in the statement of profit or loss. Depreciation is an expense. Depreciation is an expense, and expenses again reduce profits. This will also reduce profits. Statement B will also reduce profit, will also reduce profit. In the same way, the lengthening of the period of credit given to customers. Now, what if you allow your customers, what if you allow your customers a longer time to pay? You allow your credit customers a longer time to make payments. What will what will happen if you allow longer time to your credit customers? What will happen? They will pay cash, they will pay cash, they will have more time to pay cash, they will take more time to pay cash, they will pay cash at a later time. So what will happen? Your cash balance or your bank balance, your cash balance or your bank balance, if, let's suppose, if these customers are making payments through checks, if these customers are making payments through checks, now they will have more time, they will make payments at later dates, they will the payment from the customers will be delayed. So it will definitely cause a reduction, a delay in payments by credit customers will reduce your bank balance, will reduce your bank balance, will reduce your bank balance. But when you make sales to these credit customers, when you make sales to your credit customers, what will happen? Your profits will increase. Your profits will increase. Because when we make sales, we get profit on sales. If these, even if the sale is on credit basis, even if the sale is on credit basis, we are not getting cash for the sales right away. We will, although we will receive checks or we will receive cash at later dates, what will happen? We will record sales in our books of accounts. So this transaction, this transaction will increase profits, but at the same time decrease will decrease bank balance. So this is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Now moving forward. Now this is again, this is another question similar to the questions that I have already solved, like question number 3.3, question 3.3 and 3.4. So I hope that you should be able to do this question yourself. Now, Jones Company has the following transactions: payment of $400 to Blogs, for cash purchase. Payment of 250 to DOE in respect of an invoice for goods purchased last month. Now, the difference between the two is that this is a cash purchase. Here we have a cash purchase. This is, although both of them are purchases, but this is a cash purchase and this is a payment for a credit purchase. This is a payment for credit purchase. Now, when we make cash purchases, we record the double entry as purchases debit and cash credit. We record the double entry as purchases debit and cash credit. And when we make a credit purchase, we record the double entry as purchases debit and trade payables or accounts payable credit. This is how we record credit purchases, and this is how we record. Oh, no, sorry, this is debit, and this is credit. And when we make payments for these credit purchases, we debit the trade payables accounts and we credit the cash account. Now, look at these two double entries. These two double entries. This is the double entry for cash purchase, and this is the payment. This is the payment made for a credit purchase. What is happening in this transaction? That here, this is a payment. This is a payment for goods purchased previously on credit basis. So we will combine these two double entries. We will combine these two double entries to get. So what we will do, we will combine these two double entries. This is cash purchase. We will debit purchases and we will debit trade payables and we will credit the cash account. We will debit trade payables and we will credit the cash account. So this double entry will become purchases debit, trade payables debit, and cash credit. Now, here, where do we have this? We will debit purchases. Yes, here. C. Look at option C. Here, we have debited here in this double entry. Purchase account is debited, trade payables account is debited, and the cash account is credited. So purchases, purchases represent cash purchases. Trade payables, as we have made payments, as we have made payments to our creditors, so we have debited the trade payables account. So this is the correct entry to record these two transactions: purchases debit, trade payables debit, and cash credit. Now, moving forward, Talon had the following transactions: sale of goods on credit for how much? $150 to Roget. Sale of goods on credit for $150 to Roget. Return of goods from blending, originally sold for $300 in cash to blending. Now, here we have two transactions. One is a credit sale, and another is a return of goods from a customer to whom we sold goods for cash. So when we get a return from a customer to whom we sold goods for cash, we will have to pay him back the cash. We will have to uh, we will have to return the cash that we received from the customer from whom we are receiving goods back. So we will debit the returns account, and we will credit the cash account by how much? $300. And here we have sold goods on credit. So when we sell goods on credit, we credit the sales account and we debit the trade receivables account by how much? 150. Yes. This is these are the two double entries that we normally record for these two transactions. But what if we combine these two? What if we combine these two double entries? Then it will become like sales returns debit, trade receivables debit, cash credit, and sales credit. So the amount sales return, how much is the sales return? 300 debit. And how much is the cash? 300 credit. How much are the trade receivables? 150. And sales is how much? Again 150. So this is the double entry that we will record for these two transactions. Now, receivables debit, yes, receivables debit. Here I have debited the receivables account. Sales return, definitely we will debit the sales returns. No, we will not credit sales. Yeah, yes, we will credit sales. Yes, we will credit sales by 150, and we will also credit cash by 300. So this is the correct answer to this question. A is the correct answer to this question. This is the double entry that we will record for these two transactions. Now, which of the following documents should accompany a return of goods to the supplier? Return of goods. Okay. Now, when we return goods to suppliers, I have already told you that when we return goods to suppliers, we send a debit note to the supplier. A debit note actually is a request to supplier. A debit note is a request to supplier to cancel the invoice. To cancel the invoice that the supplier that we received from the supplier when we purchase goods. So when we return goods, we request supplier to cancel the invoice. We request supplier to cancel the invoice. So when we return goods, we will send a debit note. When we will return goods, we will send a debit note to the supplier. We will send a debit note to the supplier, and we will request the supplier to cancel the invoice as we no longer need goods, and uh, cancel our uh, to cancel our debt, that or to pay back the cash that we paid. So debit note, we will send a debit note to the supplier in this case. So this is the correct answer. A is the correct answer to this question. Which of the following which of the following are books of prime entry? Now, sales day book, cash book, and journal. These three are books of prime entry, but purchase ledger uh, is not a is not a book of prime entry. So these three, 1, 2, and 3, B is the correct answer. These three are day books. So B is the correct answer to this one. Now, in which book of prime entry will a business record debit notes in respect of goods which have been sent back to supplier? In which book of prime entry will a business record debit notes? Will a business record debit notes in respect of goods which have been sent back to the supplier? In which book of prime entry will a business record debit notes? Now, when when does a business issues, when does a business sends debit notes to its normally sends debit notes to its suppliers? When there is a purchases returns, when a business wants to return the goods that it had already purchased from its suppliers. So purchases returns, when a business makes purchases returns, goods already purchased are returned to the supplier, it sends debit notes to its suppliers. So purchases returns is the correct answer to this one. So C is the correct answer to this one. Purchases returns day books. So these debit notes should be recorded in the purchases returns day books, as these debit notes are sent with the purchases returns. Yes, moving forward, opening should be included in the following periods trial balance for motor vehicles. Cost at 1st July 2006. What opening balance? Now, what opening balance? The question requires you to identify what opening balance should be included in the following periods trial balance for motor vehicles cost at 1st July 2006. Now, just look at the date at which the question is asking you to identify the amount. 1st July 2006. 1st July 2006. And this account is for 30th June, is for 30th June 2006. This means that this should be the balance, the closing balance. This should be the balance. This is the balance of the motor vehicles cost account on 30th June 2006. And 1st July 2006, the very next day, what should be the balance? Now, this closing balance will become opening balance for the next accounting period. The very next day, 1st July 2006, this will become the opening balance. Balance brought down how much? 186,450. So this is the correct answer. 186,450 debit. And why debit? Because assets normally show debit balances. So the answer is 186,450 debit. A company's trade payables account at 30th September 2001 is as follows. Now, this is the opening balance. This is the closing balance. What was the balance for trade payables in trial balance at 1st October 2000? 1st October 2000. Now, the company's trade payables account at 30th September 2001. Now, it is asking for the balance. It is asking for the balance on 1st October 2000. This is exactly 1 year 1 year before 1 year before this date. This is a later date, 30th September 2001. 30th September 2001 is exactly 1 year after 1st October 2002 to 20 x naught. So this means that it is asking for the opening balance 1st October 2000. This is the balance exactly 1 year, 1 year prior to 30th September 2001. So this means that it is asking for opening balance, because opening balance should come before should come before the closing balance, and 30th September 2001 is the closing balance. So this is the closing balance, this is the closing balance, this is the balance on 30th September 2001, and on 1st October 2000 the opening balance is 14,000. So the answer is 14,000 credit. Now, opening balance, as as pay bills show credit balances, as pay bills are our liabilities and liabilities show credit balances. So we will take 14,000 credit balance. So this is the correct answer. B is the correct answer to this one. Which of the following would be recorded in the sales day book? Which of the following would be recorded in the sales day book? Discounts allowed, sales invoices, credit notes received, trade discounts. Which of these will be recorded in the sales day book? Again, it is a very easy question. So I hope that you should be able to do this question from your study of the books of prime entry. Now, which of the following statements is true? A debit records, which of the following statements is true? A debit records an increase in liabilities. Now, while answering these questions, all you need to do is you need to recall, you need to remember the rules of debit credit. So, to just to make you revise the rules of debit credit, I am mentioning here assets, liabilities, capital, expenses, and revenues. When assets increase, assets are debited, and when assets decrease, assets are credited. Liabilities are credited when liabilities increase, and liabilities are debited when liabilities decrease. Capital, when capital increases, capital is credited. When capital decreases, capital is debited. When expenses increase, expenses are debited, and when assets reduce, assets are credited. When revenues increase, revenues are credited, and when revenues decrease, revenues are debited. Okay. Now, a debit records an increase in liabilities. When liabilities increase, liabilities are credited. So this option is incorrect. A debit records a decrease in assets. No, when assets decrease, assets are credited. So again, this is wrong. A credit records an increase in liabilities. Yes, this one is correct. Because when liabilities increase, liabilities are credited. A credit records a decrease in capital. No, when capital decreases, capital is debited. So again, this is wrong. So C is the correct answer to this one. Now, let's just move forward. How is the total of the purchases day book to the nominal ledger? How is the total of the purchases day book posted to the nominal ledger? Okay, uh, I will tell you more about the day books in my upcoming videos. I will tell you more about the day books, the control accounts, uh, and the double entry bookkeeping system. I will tell you in much more detail. So leave it for now. Now, these questions are from the petty cash topic. I have not covered the petty cash topic yet. So we will I will show you answers to these questions in my upcoming videos, and I will also explain the related topics to these questions. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. It was Muid Ahmed Siddiqui. Let me know if you feel any difficulty. I am available on various social media platforms like WhatsApp, like Facebook and LinkedIn. So thanks for attending. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.